Welcome, eyes and ghouls, to a video on the internet. Ooh. Today, enter my haunted palace, and we will be. I will read to you a story of horror about Pokemon Nurse Joy. What if Nurse Joy, but her origins were fucked up? It is a tale of forced feminization for some reason. It's a weird. Let me just. You, you will see as it goes. You will see, dear. You out there on. It is a witching hour. Ooh. It's a witching hour somewhere. Is it the witching hour for you? Probably not. Probably not. But, well, I can delay no further. Let us begin. Nurse Joy. Ever wonder how there are so many Nurse Joys in the Pokemon games? We've all been told that it's because they have a lot of sisters. But really, is it possible to have that many genetically identical siblings? Well, you never know, but still, they didn't want to let anyone know the true reason. It is far too unreal and out of character if anyone knew her secret. What? But I found out. I saw, and I can tell you. It all starts when you walk into the Pokemon Center. You walk up to her and see her bright pink hair. Funny, because people have like hair, and it can come in any color if you wanted to. Okay. Thank you. Let me get on with the story now. You greet her, and she has this pretty voice that wasn't actually pretty to start with. You may or may not have a talk with her. She takes your Pokemons, turns around, heals them, and then gives them back. That's the usual routine. Most likely she'll be all nice and caring through the whole process. Give or take the personality because she has because supposedly each one is unique in personality. You know, you gotta have a little bit of nuance in the world building of your like Nurse Joy Creepypasta. Not all of them are fucked up. Some of them are like normal. Okay. I'm speaking right to you right now. I'm speaking into your ears. Okay? I trust you to do the right thing. Anyway, what you don't know is that she installed a tracking device in your Pokeballs. All 6 of them. In case one falls off. Well, why? Well, when you entered the building, she knew you'd be perfect. She knew you had the characteristics for the job. Plus, you were still a new trainer. The less known, the better. Ugh. Anyway, she keeps you tracked and alerts the other Nurse Joys you might encounter. That way, when you get to know one of them, well, let's just say so. They can care for you. However, if one of the Nurse Joys sees a trainer they want and stays in the center of this to sleep overnight, I have consumed many potions before our meeting. Okay, give me a break. I love you. Anyway, you are assigned to a room, most likely a room near the back of the Pokemon Center. 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 Okay? Can I take your Pokemon to another room so they can be healed and rested? She may ask. Say no. Just say no. Go. Dare. You remember Dare? It's a lot like Dare. It's yeah, Nurse Joy just sells you weed, and that's the creepypasta. Okay. I have deceived you. Uh, it keeps going after this. Can I wait? It's their way to isolate you. Current year. All of your belongings can go in this drawer so you can lock it and keep your items safe while you sleep. She says in her voice, you know, but will soon not love. The Joys do this to keep you unarmed. Of course, you trust these kind nurses, so all the items you had go in the drawer and she gives you the lock. Good night. Please enjoy your rest. She tries to comfort you, but if you look closely, you may notice the fake face she has, because almost always they are full of excitement before the procedure happens. Can you guess the real reason now? I did give you a slight spoiler when I was leading in, I suppose. But, well, if yes, then well done. If not, then keep listening to my spooky voice. Ooh. Videos upon the internet can be anything. If you would like. At about midnight, usually when it is all dark and no living thing is up and about, except for our lovely and sadistic nurse, it all begins. The door to your room gently opens. There is no squeak or creaking noise because she was smart enough to oil the door so no sound is made when it is opened, okay? Okay? Don't pick apart the don't try to lower my Nurse Joy. I got it, okay? Okay? Yes. Yes. She comes in with a gurney. You know those medical stretch things they used to carry injured people? You ever heard of a gurney? You can go ahead and Google it. Right now, you can Google pictures of gurneys and get a look if you want, so that you can, they're the medical stretch things. You know, they use them for carry injured people. When this tale is over, we might all be upon a gurney. Oh, well, I suppose that was a little too nasty. I will not tone it down in the future. Her face is not sweet anymore, but more devilish. She enjoys this Girls' Rituals album. The rituals are intricate, of course. Of course. She loves it. The rush, the adrenaline she gets, the red glow in her eyes. Well, it's as if she's possessed by the devil himself. I love that guy. Although you're sound asleep, she doesn't take any chances. She takes out, little warning for needles. A needle? No, it's not poison, silly. It's a liquid form of sleep powder in a very high dose. An ounce could keep you asleep for, say, 2 hours, give or take. That's not. Do you just want to take like a little nap? You can always, if you want to take a little nap, you can head to the Pokemon Center and you can have Nurse Joy fill you up with all kinds of drugs if you want. I'm not saying you have to, but you could if Nurse Joy was real. Unfortunately, she's a cartoon character. I know that sort of deflates a lot of the tension that's being built, but she's a character from a cartoon for children, which well. She needs all the time she can get for the procedure to be successful. So, you're knocked out on a gurney, being pushed down the hall into a room that has been disguised as the nurse's only room. If you ever somehow manage to see what's inside, here's what you would see. Severed limbs and appendages of different sizes in jars, only ones that didn't transform properly. Well, you know what else doesn't transform properly? I don't actually know it. I don't really know. You can fill it in with whatever your mind pleases. It's ambiguous. It's true art is you can do whatever you like, okay? Anyway. There are also... It is a good thing that I took a little break before this, because here's where it takes a exquisite turn for the macabre. There are also testicles. Yeah, she cuts them off. She drags the male's body underneath a saw tool that slices them off. She does not mind the bleeding. Ooh, like a haunted mansion. Like when the walls, like in the walls of a haunted mansion. You're in a haunted mansion. The wall's right here, and there's blood, and you're like, wow. And then you're like, ugh. And you get a lick of it because you're insane and you love blood. It's kind of like that, but for like cock and balls, basically. Okay? Okay. Can I say that on YouTube? I don't think I can. Well, I've already said it on YouTube. Actually, she collects it through the drain and jaws it. For when she needs a drink. We can all relate, honestly, though. Like, who the fuck hasn't drank blood at least once, right? Like, you got it. Do most people... Are my experiences not universal? I have much to think about after this chilling story. After all the joys need a constant supply of blood. Now, I will say, the same thing is very much true of, for example, humans, cats, dogs, fish, birds. Many things which exist in this world and are alive need a pretty constant amount of blood within them, or they tend to die. I know you did not come here for Biology 101, though, so I will get back to it. This is a short story. I have to insert a little bit of myself into it, or, well, nothing. Now, the next part is her favorite. Joy takes a knife and slices it down from the base of your neck to your groin. She does this very gently because she enjoys it, and if you were to wake up then, you can suffer slowly like a Dracula. At this point, Joy's hair is not neat. It's covered with blood. Ooh. Her face has completely changed. Her pupils completely blood red, and her teeth have suddenly grown a bit, causing them to look a bit like fangs. No, she is not a vampire. Well, she could be. But that's not the point. Joy then has a smile that's a mix of a clown and a demon, because she takes out a bottle of serum with her special hormone molecules in it. Joy DNA molecules, to be exact. But before she does anything with it, Joy takes out all of your organs, except for a couple, like your heart and your lungs and your brain and your liver and your stomach and your kidneys and your appendix. She leaves you with most of it. You don't gotta worry that much about that part. Don't worry. Steve. Hey, I mean, you gotta get hormones one way or another, right? So, what's sacrificing maybe like an organ? Maybe not even it. Maybe just your humanity. Who has any value for such a thing? Anyway, she stitches your open incision, but it is not a decent job. She slacks upon the workplace, mortals. After all, it won't matter to you soon. The serum needs to be directly poured on the brain for it to work. So naturally, Joy will take out a saw. A regular old saw, and slice your skull just enough for the brain to be showing. The serum is poured, and after a few minutes, your body is becoming more joy-like. Whatever the fuck that means. The heart and brains are revived, while new organs, joy organs, grow in the empty cavity that is your body. All your cuts are healed, and it was as if you had perfect skin. The process is complete. You wake up the next day wanting to work at a Pokemon Center, anywhere would do, but you also have a DNA molecule forcing you to look out for trainers that could be the next Joy. Of course, with this comes the ability to do what has been done to you. The thing is, you think you were born identical to other Nurse Joys. But why go through the trouble of making people turn into Joys? Why not just clone? Well, I found out that the original Joy would like to someday rule the world with an army of Joys that will do anything because it's in their DNA to follow the original, but cloning would attract too much attention. Plus, the whole I'd have a lot of sisters that are identical seems to have been a good cover story. Good. Thank you for that sentence. There. You have it. Now you know. Wonder how I know this? Well, who's always with Nurse Joy? Who's the one in the background helping her? It's me. Chansey. Though I was told not to ever speak of this information, even though I am a Pokemon from the cartoon series, the anime series, Pokemon. So my advice to you is to come to the Pokemon Center at your own risk. You never know. The thing about the real Nurse Joy is she likes to hunt around by herself. So when you're all alone, sleeping, or just relaxing, don't think you will be safe. I hear she has a nice, demonic face to stare at you with. Oh, looks like she's chosen another victim. I think it is you. Well, that was it. That was the whole. Thank you for listening to this tale of horror and suspense and monsters and madness and blood and guts that is Nurse Joy.